All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining me today. I'm super excited about today's session with everyone. What we're going to do is focus today on building your 2024 internet marketing plan. And the emphasis of what we want to focus on is helping you maximize your lead flow online. In other words, to maximize your visibility and your dominance online when it comes to your local service area in order to generate more leads and more sales online. Marketing doesn't have to be super technical and expensive. Even if you don't have a technical bone in your body, there is a formula that you can follow. And my mission is to share that formula with you so that local business owners can get results and share in that success. The first is having a plan, having some goals. And then throughout 2024, of course, we'll go into more depth detail on different topics like SEO and Google Maps, social media, pay-per-click, and so forth. Before we dive in, just want to make sure everyone sees the link in the chat for the workbook. You can go ahead and download that workbook. This will help you follow along, take some notes, and really crunch some numbers for the goals that you want to set, the number of leads you need. I want everyone here to be proactive in engaging with me and making sure you walk away with some actionable items to get started on. For me, this is really one of the most important marketing topics of all the trainings that we do throughout the year. Having that plan in place is really the stepping stone, the foundation of your home. In other words, when it comes to actually building a plan that's going to work. So make sure you have that workbook. We have a lot of stuff we're going to cover today. But what I really want to focus on today is to help make sure you have clear goals for 2024 as it relates to internet marketing. And it comes down to analyzing how many leads you actually need to generate on a monthly basis in order to hit your monthly and then your annual revenue goals. Next is the 3 fundamentals to online marketing success. We'll also cover how to optimize your website for conversions in 2024 and beyond. Of course, Google is constantly moving the target, so kudos to you for being on a workshop like this and making sure you've got the latest information. Also, we're going to talk about the big picture of all online marketing channels that you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow. This is what we call our online dominance method. We talk about the key methods and marketing channels that you should be tapping into. Then we'll spend more time on the latest trends in digital marketing. There are new things that have come out in the last 6 to 12 months they're now making big impacts on your overall marketing strategy. And I want to make sure you guys know about them and that you're tapping into those strategies and that you don't miss the boat here on the front end as those new strategies are coming out from Google. And then we're going to really dive into how to develop your action plan based on where you're at right now, where you're looking to go, and help you gain some clarity on what you and your team need to be focused on in order to maximize your sales potential in 2024. So real quick, I'm just going to ask everyone, I'd love to have your undivided attention, turn off your cell phones, get out of Facebook. If you are a remodeler or home improvement business owner and you're serious about getting better results in 2024, within the next 60 minutes or so, really have the potential to change the trajectory of your business going into the new year. I know my tendency is to have multiple screens open, multiple tabs, all kinds of multitasking. So it's really hard to focus. If you really want to get the best results, I just want you to be here, be present. You've decided to be on this workshop, so let's get the most out of it. Just a quick blurb on who I am and why you should listen to me. Admittedly, I'm a computer geek since way back in the mid 80s when I first learned how to write code. I'm the author of the book on internet marketing for contractors and builders, which I promise is a definitive guide to helping remodelers grow their business. I'm also associate member of the National Association of Home Builders, National Association of the Remodeling Industry, and the NKBA, National Kitchen and Bath Association. Also a former remodeler and real estate developer, having developed some of my own $1 million properties here in Denver. So I know the challenges of working with customers as well as how to find those customers. This is what I'm very passionate about. is helping remodelers and home improvement companies succeed online. I love seeing a new client have huge success with our programs and looking at some of those graphs and this metrics that just makes me giddy. And then finally, I'd say more importantly in any of that is I've had the opportunity at this point to work with lots of home remodeling companies, lots of remodelers in some of the most competitive markets in the United States, some of the most competitive industries, from remodeling, roofing, HVAC, windows installation companies. And I'm proud to say that me and my team have helped a lot of these companies go from virtual obscurity online to where they now dominate their local markets. Some of them getting in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 calls a month for lower volume trades, remodelers that don't really want a ton of leads, to other clients and partners that we work with that are getting hundreds of calls every single month in those high volume industries like HVAC and roofing. Every call tracked by us. So what I share with you is really based on real world in the trenches experience with remodelers and home improvement companies. We've built tons of websites. We have access to the analytics, the metrics, ranging from all those different industries. I'm going to share what works throughout the course of this session, really specific things that we do for the companies that we work for. So it really it gives you a sense of what's possible when you implement these things in your own business. You can implement these things on your own, but really for this webinar, it really starts with knowing what that plan is going to be, how many leads you need in order to hit those goals. So this is what we do. We help contractors, home improvement companies increase their sales from their internet and ultimately increase their annual revenue. We have an expert team of specialists that are all trained in different disciplines, whether it be SEO or running pay-per-click or crafting social media calendars. But the main driving force is this is what we're really passionate about. This is what we do. This is the industry we work exclusively in. We're not trying to be the marketing company for attorneys and doctors and chiropractors and all that stuff. This is where I come from. My background is in. So this is what really makes me happy is working in an industry that I really enjoy. Love seeing the success. And so before we get started, just would love to hear from everyone on. We have a ton of people on today. Looks several dozen have registered. It looks like here. What I'd like to hear from everyone, though, is just some feedback along the way. Anytime you want to post some comments in, let me know. I'll try to answer your question as we go. But the biggest thing is, what is the hardest part that you find about marketing your home improvement business online? Usually we get a lot of comments on just really getting noticed amongst all the competition. Alan just posted getting a consistent and steady flow of leads and jobs. Yeah, obviously consistency. Brenda mentioned fake marketing companies. You're probably referring to all the companies out there that don't actually do what they say. They don't actually deliver any results. There's no call tracking in place to really see what's going on. Maybe customer service is lacking. Yeah, a lot of those things. You see that. Nathan, it says the same thing, kind of along the same lines. Who to trust with your marketing? Who can you really count on? That's some good feedback. Doreen just posted getting valuable leads and not just junk leads. Absolutely. There's leads gen companies out there, and they're handing your lead out to 10 different people. You may not even be able to get in touch with these people. Now, you are going to get leads from time to time, no matter how good your marketing is, no matter who you're using, no matter how dialed in you are. People are just going to call you and say, I want a $5,000 bathroom remodel. And we all know that that's not possible. You can't even buy the materials for that. So, you hopefully you refer them to somebody else, or maybe you educate them, spend a little more time on the phone and say, where did you come up with that pricing? What makes you think you can do a bathroom remodel for $5,000? Ultimately, that lead may not go anywhere, but what we found is just helping educate customers a little more, because they may not even know that a $5,000 bathroom remodel or a $20,000 kitchen, these just aren't in the realm of possibility with skyrocketing costs, inflation, and all that. So definitely helping educate them is really one of the biggest steps that you can make from a sales perspective, instead of saying, oh, no, we don't help you click. Just trying to walk them through that. Someone has to walk them through that process eventually to get through them. So that's something to think about. Alonzo, I just saw, said tracking ROI. Really huge. How do you know where you're going if you're not tracking anything? How do you know if you got there or not? To really know what marketing channels are working for you. So that's, there's going to be those price shoppers out there, obviously. And then Catherine says, not really knowing what order to do things in order to build your authority, to build your credibility online. So that's a good one, Catherine. We'll be talking about that a little bit more. We'll also talk more about building authority and credibility toward the end of this presentation with Google's new formula, and then also in our follow-up workshops on SEO, website optimization, Google Maps, things like that. So definitely some good feedback there. Thanks everyone for contributing some questions. Hope to see more as we go. We're going to kind of move on here. As you can see from some of the answers I was reading there, and plus your own experience with marketing, there is no magic formula when it comes to marketing. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to bringing in more new customers. Do what you know will work best for your company and what you will be most motivated to stick with. Don't say, I'm going to really dive into social media marketing and post every day when, in fact, you haven't made a post on social media in 5 years. It's just too big of a stretch to think that you're going to stick with something you've never done before. So do what you know you'll stick with. That's where you're going to have the best results. And just realize that making small incremental changes can have a big impact on your results. And as we dive into 2024, the very first thing that you need to be thinking about, the very first thing is to set clear goals, right? You can't reach a goal if you never set a goal to begin with. And so that's kind of where we start with. I'm a fan of Tony Robbins. I've seen him live, very inspirational. I like to see a lot of inspirational and motivational speakers just to keep me energized, to keep my momentum moving forward. But Tony has this great quote in one of his books I read. It says, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. So, we all get really busy with distractions of our day, all the devices, the social media alerts, screaming for our attention, and then all the work issues that invade your day on what seems like a minute by minute endless stream. I know I fall and I get pinged all day long by 20 plus different people. And for you guys, you can't find where your tradesman's at. You're thinking about, how do I generate more leads? You're thinking about, how do you do more design proposals? How do you do them differently? Maybe you're thinking about, how do you get your average pricing up, which is super important as well, right? So whatever it is, we all get super busy. A lot of that stuff can truly be classified as commentary. And what we need to do is really focus on our goals. What are we really trying to accomplish with your companies? Where are we trying to get to? Again, you can't reach your goals if you don't have any goals. And so what a great time here as we just start to head into 2024 to really just set clear intentions and break down where we want to go and what it's going to take in order to get there. And so I've mentioned this before. There was this great Harvard study done back in the day. What they did was they interviewed graduates who were setting out into the real world that year. They basically asked them 3 questions. Do you have goals? Do you have a clear plan for accomplishing those goals? And do you have them written down? 84% of the graduates had no specific goals. We're talking about Harvard grads here. No specific goals. They're like, I'm just going to graduate. I'm just going to get my degree and life's going to be great. I guess it's all going to work out. That was their plan. 13% had goals, but they weren't written down. And then 3%, and this is kind of the 3% rule, 3% had clear written goals and they had a plan that was written out. And so here's where I'm going to get to, at least from a high level. How do you think you can make that happen? Here's the results from that study. The 13% that had goals, but they weren't written down, were earning 2 times more than the rest of the class, and even more staggering. And this is the whole point of what we're talking about here, is the 3% that had goals and had written down plans to accomplish those goals were earning 10 times as much as the other 97% all put together. So what I really want to tap in here into that 3% rule, that small percentage of the population that gives you that 10x advantage, giving you a little space to write down those goals now. Put something on paper right now and hold yourself to it, so that as you look toward 2024, you can reverse engineer that plan and figure out how you're going to get there. And we're going to help you do a little bit of that reverse engineering as well. My goal setting framework is obviously to have written goals and plans. We do that within our company. It helps us get there. We know when we're off track, and we know when we're going to exceed that. And maybe we move the goalpost a little bit to challenge ourselves a little more. So you need to set a minimum of a 1-year goal, and then quarterly goals, and then monthly goals. And then you have to have a stopping point as well. This is what I find that most people miss. They'll set a goal, and they did this over and over, but they don't really, have a stopping point. And then you kind of lose track of that goal, and you don't really know, if you got there or not, and what it's going to take to make some pivots, some shifts. Did I accomplish that goal? Do I need more leads? Do I need less leads? Am I on track? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Those are the things that you really want to be thinking about when you buy into the power of goal setting. And this is really a ritual that you should gather your team with every December, your leadership team, or maybe the entire team, and say, folks, this is where we finished 2023. Now, what are our goals for 2024? See what kind of feedback that you get from your team to see, are they like, pie in the sky dreaming? Okay, that's good, but maybe we can lower those expectations. Or maybe they're not even thinking about goals either. Maybe they're just there to collect a paycheck. So you're going to really learn some things about who really wants to contribute to your goal setting and who wants to really help you make that happen within your company. And so on the first page of our worksheet, we talk about, what is your target revenue? So, if you could wave a magic wand right now and project forward to the end of 2024, and I really want you to write this down as well. Like I said, hold yourself to it. What is that revenue goal for 2024? And then what does that look like monthly? As simple as maybe just saying, hey, I'm going to make $3 million this year. Maybe you're at 2.5. Maybe you want to get to 3. Maybe you were at 300,000 and that's it. You're just starting out, but you want to get to 5 or 600,000. Whatever that is, doesn't matter. Write it down. Set a goal for yourself. Set that revenue goal for the year, and then divide by 12. That's your monthly goal. And then think about how many calls will that require for you? How many calls will you need to get to that goal based on the number of calls, the number of leads that you're going to close, and then what your average transaction value is. All of these are going to factor in. It's just, like I said before, it's just reverse engineering those numbers. Feel free to post in chat if you got a revenue goal that you want to share. It doesn't matter. Everyone's at different places. No one knows who you are. But just put it out there, put it out to the universe to say, this is what I'm going to achieve in 2024. And I bet you'll come a lot closer to it by writing it down than if you hadn't written it down. And so here's an example of reverse engineering that target. So let's say you got a target of $2 million a year. And so based on that, how many calls are you going to have to generate in order to make that goal a reality? And so to figure that out, the most basic level that you want to do is write that revenue target down, figure out where you're at with that number, and now let's start reverse engineering it. And so how much is that monthly? That's going to be a monthly target of $167,000 based on that $2 million revenue goal. And then you look, what is your average transaction value? So for the sake of this example, I have $35,000 as the average transaction value. Now, this may be lower for you. You may be in the $100,000 or $200,000 range, or maybe you're just doing $15,000 or $20,000 bathrooms. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is the numbers that work for you, the numbers that you're trying to hit. So with that average transaction value of $35K, how many jobs will that require? You're going to need about 5 jobs per month. That's your monthly target. 167,000 divided by 35,000 is roughly about 5 jobs a month. So that's where you're at. Now you need to figure out what your average conversion ratio is. How many leads will you need in order to close those 5 jobs? And so what you're doing here is you're taking your average conversion ratio and dividing that by the target number of calls, and that's how many leads that you'll get on the surface, how many leads you'll need to generate in order to reach your goal. Because if you're clear about these numbers, the number of leads that you actually need, reverse engineering, it's the easy part. How do we fill the pipeline to accomplish that goal? And how do we get the phone ringing at that level? How do you generate that number of leads, and not just thinking about, God, I just hope my phone rings. You're looking for a specific target. How many calls do you need each week, each month, each year? So you really got to think about this on a granular level and not just think, I hope my phone's ringing. And so here in this example, we've got conversion rate. Let's say your conversion rate's 33%. And so to get those 5 jobs, you're going to need about 15 leads a month based on the math here. And so it's pretty clear at that point, right? You know exactly from the math how many calls you're going to need. So you're going to need 15 leads, qualified leads, not just calls, not just telemarketers and junk and all that. You're going to need 15 leads that say, I'm looking for remodeling services. And then based on you closing about, 1 out of 3, that's going to get your 5 jobs a month. That's your revenue target. And now you're on track to hit your annual target as well. So that's kind of how we do the reverse engineering numbers. Like, this seems really simple, and it is, but you really should go through this process here so that if you're getting 2 calls a week right now and you need 15 calls a month, do the math. You're only about half of what you need. So now you need to think about, how do I generate more calls? Is it more in marketing, more pay-per-click? Should I be posting on social media more? Should I put myself out there on video? Like, whatever it is, you need to think about what's that going to look like for you, because right now it's not cutting it right now what you're getting in terms of calls and in terms of your goals. And the next step that's really going to help, that you really want to be paying attention to, is updating your marketing message. Oftentimes we leave our marketing to whoever it is that handles your marketing strategy, whether they're really trained in it or not, really have experience with it. We just assume that they kind of know what's going on. Oh yeah, they're SEO company. They know what they're doing, but maybe they haven't worked with a remodeler. Maybe they've not worked with a designer, a builder. Maybe they just use the same generic marketing message for all the different types of industries they serve. So that's really important. I mention that because that's why we chose to only work within the home improvement industry. That's it. We're not trying to be the marketing company for everybody. We've seen how that fails. And so really think about that from your marketing message standpoint. When you look at what you're putting out there on social media, what your website is showing, is it really the message that you want to be sharing? Is that the message that best resonates with your ideal customer? Is that the message that's going to best convert on your website, getting them calling you? And so let's think about what those fundamentals are really. The first is, who is your market? Is it residential or is it commercial? Maybe it's a little both. Who is that ideal customer? Is it the homeowner? Is it typically the woman of the household or the man of the household? What's their average age? What are their basic demographics and commonalities? And the clearer you are on who your customer is, the better it's going to be for you. And then next is determining what your message will actually be, knowing that you can actually craft messaging based on why they should choose you versus working with the competition. What is your USP, your unique selling proposition? What really makes you stand out from your competitors? Most people think that they stand out from the competitors, but when you ask them that, the answer is not really a good one. Think about if someone asked you that, what would your answer be? How do you stand out from your competitors? And see if you like the answer that you just gave yourself. And then that message and market match informs us of the how part. The how part is the different media and marketing channels that you choose. In other words, what you do with your website, what you put out there on directory sites. If you're using Google local service ads, if you're using pay-per-click, what messaging are you putting out there? So you really want to spend some time fine tuning that message so that you really make sure it resonates with your ideal customer. That's what's important. The better that your message resonates with your customer, the better off your conversion rate optimization of your website's going to be. We'll talk more about that in SEO. And just getting those people to call you is the first step, right? They see the message, they like what they see, and now they make the call. That's half the battle, just getting them to the website to make that call. Once they make that call, now you can share your expertise, your charm, and just be a real person talking to another real person that you can help with their helping them build their dreams and satisfy their needs in what they're looking to accomplish with you. And so the best way to do this is just to spend a little time thinking about your ideal customer and the customer you'd like to work with, the customer that isn't a pain in the neck, that's willing to pay a premium. We have partners we work with. They just say, if I think that customer is going to be a pain in the neck, I just tell them I'm booked out a year or two. They just, we give them enough leads that they're able to cherry pick and say, nope, I like that one. I like that one. Nope, not working with that person. Total pain in the butt. Going to be very demanding, whatever it may be. You want to work with people that you really enjoy working with, right? That's what's going to make the biggest difference in your life, is doing what you like to do, what you love to do, you're passionate about, but also doing it with people that you like. There's no passion in working with someone that you just don't really feel that you're connecting with. So really think about who you want your customer to be. What are their dreams and aspirations? What are their goals and desires? Their fears? What are the implications of those fears? Just thinking about this, I guarantee you will help you dial in your marketing just a little bit better and bring in a better class of clientele, one that really matches your goals a little bit more. And so, what we found is that typically we're talking about homeowners that's average between say 35 and 55 years old. We do see a little bit younger homeowners nowadays, and also older homeowners, but they're typically not doing so much remodeling. So that 35 to 55, it's kind of a sweet spot. They've got a career, they've got some disposable income, dual income maybe even. Typically the female, the woman of the household is making the buying decision. She wants the kitchen remodeled just to be more functional, just to be a better place to spend time. Maybe the husband does most of the cooking, and he decides that he wants a new kitchen. But generally, we find that the women of the household make a lot of the big decisions, and that's good because they make better decisions than a lot of us men anyway. So that's typically what we see. She's that person that drives the day-to-day decisions for her family. She's running the household, in other words. Annual income can vary, like obviously if people, in rural, Ohio, or maybe they're not making as much money as someone living in an uppity, neighborhood of Austin, Texas, or San Francisco, something like that. So just really be clear on that. Try to understand, what their goals are, but what some of those frustrations are to where they're, really afraid to reach out because they just don't know what to expect from the work that they might be getting done with you. And then in terms of that ideal customer avatar, we really want to think about those fears and frustrations because that's the rate limiting factor. This is what really, really pains people to reach out, to make calls to people they don't even know, companies that they're only able to read the reviews, which are great, but they still don't really know who you are, especially if you're not putting yourself out there on video. Hint, hint, put yourself out there on video. We'll be talking more about that later. But, these are people that they don't want to be ripped off. They're afraid of paying too much, being overcharged, maybe having a bunch of strangers in their house that are, trampling through, tracking dirt. Maybe they got dogs, want to make sure the dog doesn't get out. Maybe the inconvenience of just, having people in their house all day, every day. And is there someone at home to really watch that? That's really something that is going to be a big factor for them. So really try to make sure you're explaining your process and how you work with your customers so that they can really put some of those fears to bed. And then from a goals and desires perspective, they just want the issue fixed, whether it's a bigger kitchen, more spacious bathroom, maybe a new island, maybe get the island out of the way. They just want to have it done and not have to worry about it, check it off the list, and then just be able to move on with their lives. So think about what some of those desires might be for them, and how you can inject that into your sales process and really try to hit some of those hot buttons for them. Pain points are hot buttons, and goals and desires are both hot buttons. So try to address those in your sales process, and I bet you your sales process starts to look a little more stronger in that regard too, because nothing happens without sales. So it all starts there. And then, just being clear on that market, message, media match, that those three components. This is where you can really start thinking about your messaging, and what's that one concept maybe that can and should impact all of your marketing efforts. And then I talked about why somebody should choose to do business with you versus the competition. It shouldn't be the obvious stuff like we offer free estimates, or just saying you're the best in town. It should really be based on what it is about your company that's different. What really makes you stand out in your field? If you can really find a point of difference and distinction, that's where you can really get a massive bump in how well your marketing's converting. And then what benefits do you offer to your ideal customer, that target avatar, that really has them choosing you as opposed to your competitors? What's going to really resonate with them? Again, it goes back to those hot buttons. The more you can hit these hot buttons when they're on your website, when they're reading your social updates, social posts, the better off you're going to be. So, it could be ease of scheduling, handling, city permitting for you, things that speak to your customers, that where they don't want to be inconvenienced. Straightforward pricing, upfront pricing, satisfaction guarantee. Just trying to take some of the risk off of them, and make them feel confident that you're not going to rip them off. And then, of course, trustworthy craftsmen, trustworthy technicians that are experienced in their craft, that are going to be in their house. You want to really feel good about that, not look like you've got some ne'er-do-wells working for your team, clean cut, shirts tucked in, maybe booties on their feet when they come in. Just show that sense of professionalism is going to really help. And then we can really start crafting the reason why that they want to work with you. Maybe you can really get an estimate turned around pretty quickly, kind of a basic design, maybe just quick scheduling of that first consultation. Maybe you do have some money saving offers. Typically in remodeling, we don't have a lot of coupons out there, right? Like an HVAC, but just saying, hey, we're running a holiday special. And we're willing to throw in a little something extra, or we're willing to give you a discount off of the quote that we put together for you. Whatever it may be that is going to help kind of distinguish you from someone else. You're not looking to cheapen yourself and say, race to the bottom in pricing, but something that might make you stand out a little bit is certainly going to help in getting more booked consultations. And so now that we've got concrete goals in place, we've set some targets for ourselves, gotten clear on the message. And the next really important thing is to make sure that your website, the core of everything you do, is really built to convert. In today's day and age, all the marketing that you do offline as well as online, it leads back to your website. It's what we call your digital storefront. So it all starts with your website. So, whether it's from SEO, your pay-per-click advertising, social media outreach, TV ads, maybe radio ads, billboard ads, having your branded and vehicle wrapped trucks out in the community, local neighborhood flyers where you're advertising, all of it points back to your website. And so if your website isn't built to convert at the highest level possible, you're going to be losing out on opportunities and leaving money on the table. So that's getting your website to convert is so important. We call it conversion rate optimization. It's really all about how you convert more site visitors into actual customers. Kevin Costner in the Field of Dreams said, "Build it and they will come." That's only half the battle. You can build your website, but they're not going to come. You need to get them there, and then you need to convert them into a phone call, convert them into filling out a web form. So, how can you optimize that at the highest level possible? I'm just showing you kind of a sample example here. This is not really a workshop where we can totally dive into how to optimize your website. We'll be doing that in early 2024. But just think about some of the most important things. Your title tag. Every website has a title to the website. That's what shows up in the search results. When you hover over, if you were looking at a URL bar here and you were hovering over it with your mouse, this is, what would show up as their title tag. So make sure it talks about, the services you're offering in the town that you're offering that. It's the same thing with your H1 tags. These are called heading tags, and you have several H tags. Some are H1, H2, H3, things like that. But, you want these to really stand out and call out the service that you're offering. You don't really want to have the generic H tags that say, "We make dreams come true." Well, you may make dreams come true, but that's not going to help for your SEO. So move that into your first line or second line of your paragraph and talk about how you make dreams come true. But this H tag right here, this is what Google sees and says, "Oh, okay, this is what this paragraph is about. It's about basement finishing in Columbus." So these tags are super, super important. So make sure that you're using these. Make sure you're using unique content, not duplicate content. If you're plagiarizing content, you're getting penalized by Google. It's the same as cheating, plagiarizing content and writing papers in school. So you want to make sure you're using your own unique content and you're not reusing that on page after page. Every page needs to be different. Just having the phone number up here in the right-hand corner is really important. That's where people are used to looking for it. So put it where they're used to, and make sure it's a click-to-call number as well. A lot of people, or more people than not, are actually accessing your website from mobile devices nowadays. So give them an easy way to just click that button. It automatically starts dialing for them. They're probably, on the train to work. Maybe they're on their lunch break. Maybe they're working, but not really working for their boss, and they're just, sneaking in a call. Most likely they're not looking on their desktop computers unless they're doing that in the evenings at home. So having that click to call number is super important. And then just kind of, making sure you showcase your reviews, things like that is really important. There's a lot of things, a Google Map embed down in the bottom of your website is going to be really important as well. There's a ton of things that we'll go into in a subsequent webinar, but kind of wanted to give you an idea of just some basics, having your menu up here, your about page, second most important page on a website. Most people don't realize that. They want to know who you are, who you're about, maybe a video of you on there is going to be super good for conversions. And then, of course, having the service pages for all the different services that you offer, that's going to be really important as well. And so just to kind of share what can happen when you transition a website from poor conversion to an optimized website with good conversion elements. Here's just a couple random screenshots that I want to show you from where we took over a site with poor conversions, low phone call volume, just really poor on-page SEO setup. As soon as we made some changes in terms of conversion, you can immediately see that uptick happen there, and it's in proportion to the number of phone calls, number of websites they're getting, and then of course more sales. So driving that website traffic up, that's the first step, just getting more people to your website so you can convert more people. That's going to be reflected in your call tracking, and hopefully you guys are doing call tracking so that you know how many real calls you're getting. You can go back and listen to a call, maybe use it as a training mechanism for anyone that may be answering your phone. So it's pretty powerful stuff, getting that optimization in place and how it's going to help you convert more. And so now we understand a little better what it means for your business. Having a good website that's built to convert, how it can really have a massive impact on the number of leads that you get. It's kind of a KPI screenshot just to show, where those numbers can be and how those numbers can keep growing. And then also in the workbook that hopefully you downloaded, I had this little cheat sheet in here. It's called our website conversion blueprint. It just kind of outlines the different things that you want to make sure that you have in place from a design perspective, like where the logo goes, where the phone number should go, making sure you have some great testimonials and social proof on your site. So this is a good little guide to follow there. Jackie, that workbook link is at the top of the chat. You should be able to see that, but I'll paste it again here for you real quick, just to make sure you have that. And so, go through your website with an eye towards conversion elements and really ascertain, is your website truly built to convert? Here's a whole list. This is a great little slide here to screenshot if you want. It's a lot of information, but if you really pay attention to all these insights I'm sharing on this slide right here, it's really going to help you really think about some of these key insights. Does your website speak to your target avatar? Does it address their fears and concerns on why they should choose you? Does it have real authentic imagery, not stock photos, which Google will penalize you for? Do you have pictures of your team, pictures of your staff, videos that I mentioned of you, your staff, talking about your company, your vision, your mission statement, why you love to do what you do, why you're so passionate about your company values, your ethics? What better way to welcome visitors to your website? Explain all that in a video, short little video. Which shows that you're kind of technically savvy too. You're forward thinking. You're proud of the brand that you've built. These are the things that really resonate with people. They're like, hey, they're not just a remodeler. They actually know how to do some of this, marketing stuff, and they're really proud of putting themselves out there. So that stuff's really important. Ideally, you want a welcome video on your homepage and then a separate video for each of your service pages. Maybe a video that talks about dealing with insurance claims if you're in water damage restoration. Maybe a video explaining why they should choose you versus the competition. Again, that's where you need a really compelling statement there. Does your website showcase your online reviews? All those testimonials you're getting from happy customers, not just on the website, but from the people that wrote about you on Google, on Yelp. How can you help them track down where some of those reviews are? And then do you have the fundamentals in place? Like I said, the phone number in the top right-hand corner, easy click to call button from a mobile perspective. Are you leveraging online chat, which is a great way to help you improve your conversion rates? We find that for the number of visitors coming from a website without chat, it can increase your conversions, the phone calls that you get, by up to 20, even 30%. So that means just a lot more leads for you just by having that chat box and giving people the opportunity to engage via chat when they may not be inclined or have the time to pick up the phone at that time. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. And another aspect of your marketing strategy, of course, is your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and tracking of those, using call tracking, lead tracking. The only way to truly know how much call volume is coming in, how many were actually leads, and then to be able to quantify your cost per lead is through the use of call tracking. I really cannot underemphasize the importance enough of good call tracking and understanding these metrics. And then what I feel the real elephant in the room right now, it's the biggest marketing issue facing builders, remodelers, designers, home improvement companies, and that's unconverted leads. And so here's the problem. 50 to 60% of unbound leads leave your website unconverted. In other words, they don't make the call, they don't book the appointment for the consult, and then 90% of web forms fail to convert. That's a big number, right? And so the reasons you're getting leads that go unconverted are, one, most people aren't following up on the leads immediately. And then those leads go cold. I mean, I can't tell you enough times of people that say, I can't even get a contractor on the phone. You're losing opportunities. These leads go cold if you're not following up with them. They ghost you. You really have to realize the average attention span of human beings is about 7 to 8 seconds, about the same as a goldfish. So if you're not following up with leads quickly, they are moving on to the next contractor. And don't think that, oh, they'll just leave a voicemail and you can call them back. Good luck getting a hold of them, because I bet you 1 out of 2 times you're not going to be able to get back a hold of them. They've already found a contractor. They don't want to call you back. They already got a bad taste because the first impression that you left with them was a voicemail. First impressions last a lifetime, right? And so, as a rule of thumb, a potential customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before they end up booking an appointment. People are busy these days, life's hectic, and so you really need to make sure you're reaching out at acceptable intervals. Not obviously not every day, but use email, use text, make a phone call, and keep following up with them. It's crucial in order to actually convert that. And then nowadays, a lot of people just prefer that direct messaging to get the ball rolling, just to see what that relationship's going to look like. So be open to setting up appointments through chat, and just giving them the opportunity, especially with the younger homeowners that are now starting to come into homeownership and will be a dominant part of the home buying demographic at some point here. They're not as inclined to use email, or even to make a call. There's different things going on with different generations. We can hate it, we can love it, we can complain about it, but the bottom line is do what your customers are doing. Help them communicate with you in the ways that they want to communicate with you, and that means just giving them all the options to do that and whatever fits for them. And so here's the solution: leveraging marketing automation so that you're following up with your web forms within like the first 2 minutes. Your web forms are tied to an automation. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm not in the office, I didn't get that form till 4 hours later. Exactly, right? Let automation do that for you. Have a workflow triggered that when you get a web form in, boom, an email goes out automatically. A text message maybe goes out automatically if your form has a text message form field. And so now they know, oh, okay, hey, they got the message. And now you, as the owner, you're going to try to get to that call as soon as you can, but you might be on a job, you might be in an appointment, but at least you didn't wait 4 hours to get back with that customer. Because I can guarantee if 2, 3, 4 hours goes by, or even a whole day, they've already talked to probably 3 other contractors. So use automation, whether it be a quick phone follow-up, email follow-up, automated text or email. You really want to get involved with this potential customer early, or maybe your office manager or marketing manager is doing this or can do this for you. So it's really about setting up automation. You should have a CRM you're using. We set up a CRM for all of the partners we work with. So make sure you're using Salesforce or Go High Level or any of the number, HubSpot. They got all kinds of CRMs out there. Just figure out what works for you, and then automate that follow-up process so that every potential customer is touched a minimum of 5 times. That's what I meant by creating that workflow. Immediate follow-up after the web form, and then an email goes out, and maybe an internal notification that pings you that says call them, and then maybe 2 days later a text message goes out, and then maybe 2 days later another email goes out. All that automation will keep happening until you say stop, because you get a hold of the potential customer. Now you're having that conversation. Go stop that workflow and now carry on conversation, just directly you and the client. But that automation will help you increase your sales. It's all in the stats. There's no doubt that marketing automation for every industry out there, including us, is super, super important. And so let's just use some simple math to illustrate what good follow-up can do for you, especially using marketing automation. Let's say your conversion rate on booking estimates is 30%, just based on average, maybe even poor follow-up and lead nurture. What we call lead nurture is nurturing those leads. And so if that's the case for you, maybe your conversion rate's even worse. But let's just use 30% as an example. You can see what happens here through using 30%. And now let's bump our conversion rate up to 70%. We've got good automation. We're following up quickly. There's no excuse from our point of view. We don't have to say, oh, I should have called. I should have sent an email. I should have sent a text. You're doing all of that. And now look what happens with your booking rates. you're following up at 70%. Ultimately, you're booking more jobs, you're booking more projects, and you go from 1 million to 2.5 million, basically a 2.5x increase in your revenue simply by putting better automation, better follow-up in place. So, I mean, who on the call here would love to 2.5x their revenue? I would hope everyone, even if you don't reply in the chat, I'm sure everyone's thinking, yeah, I could use 2.5x revenue. And you don't even have to be thinking about doing 70 jobs. I mean, just lower your number of leads to 10 and say, okay, I'm getting 2 jobs, which is better than 1 job. So really just think about where you're at in this and think about how you can incorporate marketing automation into your system. It's all out there. It's the easiest thing to use. Once you set that stuff up, it takes a little time, but now you can just copy those workflows, those automation workflows over and over for everyone that enters your pipeline, everyone that enters your funnel. And then the result of great lead nurture, obviously, is that every lead you generate, it just makes that lead that much more valuable. A lot of remodelers that I talk to, they talk about the quality of leads they get. And like I said earlier, you can't control the quality of all the leads, but you can control getting more and more leads and developing them more and turning them into a good lead with good follow-up. And so what you do is just spend a couple minutes just reflecting on maybe 3 of the conversion elements that you want to implement on your website. I've talked a lot about different things here, just putting more personality, more authenticity in your website. Like I said, real images, real videos. Maybe you're adding chat. Maybe you're just going to move your phone number up to the right-hand corner and see how that works for you a little better. Maybe it's making your online reviews and testimonials, displayed a little more prominently on your website. So just think about what those 3 items might be for you, and then make sure you implement them. Go away from here taking action. I love to educate. I want to give everyone as much as I can in terms of education. But what I want really from you is just to, leave this webinar at the end of it and go, you know what, I'm going to implement these things. And if you send me an email and tell me you implemented some things, I'll be super, super happy to hear that. No sales pitch here, nothing along the lines of any of our webinars about pitching you, just educating you, trying to give you the tools to move your business forward. That's what we're really working toward here. And then step 4 is really to make sure that you know your KPIs, what are your marketing key performance indicators, and these are basically your goals and goal tracking metrics. It's something that we use for our company. All of our employees all have their own KPIs, certain standards, certain metrics they have to hit on a weekly basis. Everyone. We're not just talking sales here. Everyone has that. So think about how you can incorporate that into your company for your employees, and then break those KPIs down every quarter, and then every month even, and really keep an eye on where your company is moving in terms of KPIs. And so, do you have your call tracking in place for your return on investment? Call volume metrics. Are you really paying attention to your call volume metrics and where you're at there? Calculating your average cost per call generated, doing all that reverse engineering. I got this many calls, this many were leads, this many book consultant consults, this many sales, this is my revenue. Now you take that revenue number divided by those number of calls, and now you know what your booked call average cost per call is, average cost per lead is, and you can break all that stuff down in order to keep all that in one place and in a tracking dashboard. In other words, be able to track all of this, because you can't improve upon what you don't measure. We all have these tracking dashboards set up, so super, super important to have this, pay attention to it, and hold yourself to that standard. Your plan for 2024 here, and really talk about what you need to do to maximize your online presence. This is what we call our online dominance wheel. I'm just going to kind of breeze through this for different areas of focus. Ultimately, we talk about having a good website, strong foundation. So basically your SEO foundation. And then we talk about backlinking, authority building, Your pay-per-click. Will pay-per-click be a part of your strategy? Everyone that comes to your website, everyone that lands on a pay-per-click landing page, will you be retargeting them with a retargeting ad? And retargeting ad is more about making your brand more aware to them, not just saying, hey, you want to buy something or we got a special. Retargeting is more of just brand awareness, just saying, hey, kind of come back to our website, visit us, see what we're doing, check out our projects, things like that. Paid online directories, big part of SEO, just making sure you're kind of everywhere, that you can be found on the internet. Google sees that, your potential customers see that. So it's really huge in terms of just being more ubiquitous around the internet. Repeat referral business, the best kind of marketing there is out there, right? The easiest kind of leads to close. Should be closing those at 100%. So never let your repeat and referral marketing go. Obviously, I think most of you guys do a great job of that. The only problem with repeat and referral marketing is it can only take you so far. When you're really trying to grow, really trying to scale and get to the next level, you simply can't get enough referrals in the door to do that. Pay per lead will help you get more of those leads in the door. If they work, great. If you're not getting a good ROI, don't use them. We don't typically hear great things about Angie's List, Home Advisor, Combine Now, Thumbtack, House. Most people say that those don't work for them because the leads are just going out to too many contractors. So it's something to really think about there. If it works, again, use them. You chart that ROI. Use a different phone tracking number to see if that marketing channel is really working for you. Then your social media, YouTube videos, social posting, all that super effective in building brand awareness. Not so great at building, a pipeline of leads. In other words, social media is not going to build that pipeline. It's not a lead generation source. It's more for brand awareness. So think about that. And then, of course, your reputation. You're always looking to build your reputation in terms of building that 5-star reputation, giving people a reason to want to reach out to you. Biggest trends for 2024, just to emphasize kind of some of the things that you may already be involved in, you may not be involved in. I just want to make sure you're paying attention to these because they will impact your results going into 2024 and beyond. These aren't fly-by-night kind of trends. First trend is Google local service ads. A lot of you have already started utilizing these ads. And for others on the call, you may have tried these ads, or it's possible they don't even have these ads in your area yet, just based on your service offerings, the industry you're in. These local service ad options are available in most markets for remodelers, but they may not be available for some markets like builders and designers. So you'll have to check and see. If you need any help with that, just let me know. Google changed the game when it came to these ads, and they really want to try to compete with the Houses, the Thumbtacks, the Angies, and it's kind of a pay per lead. So we'll talk about more of that. We'll talk about the shift from wanting to call in versus texting. Having that chat function, baked right into your website. Giving people that option to schedule right on your website. Maybe start testing that to see if that helps with scheduling, helps with follow-up. When we schedule, we also have automated follow-up so that they get reminders that remind them of that appointment. So a lot of people go, oh, I get so many no-shows. Do you follow up with them? Oh, no, I didn't follow up with them. Well, there you have it. Send them an email reminder after they book the appointment, send them an email reminder the morning of, send them a reminder or text. You see some of the email reminders that we send out. They're just reminders that help people through their busy day to remember that they've got a set appointment that day. So really think about that. You're not going to do everything through messaging and text, but it's a great way to give people an opportunity to actually start that process. Then we'll talk about a little bit about generative AI and social search. Big topic nowadays, ChatGPT and all that. We'll talk about Google's EAT formula, EEAT. This is huge. This is one of the biggest things that you're going to want to pay attention to going forward. And then just kind of having really an all-in plan when it comes to your marketing. So what are Google local service ads? They're sometimes referred to as the Google guaranteed listings. You may or may not be familiar with these. right now, but you really need to be paying attention to these if these ads are in your industry, in your geographical market. These are great. They're basically pay per lead, just like Thumbtack or Houzz or but the costs are way better than those platforms, and these people are coming from Google, which tend to be the best kind of prospects you can get. These people have real intent, what we call commercial intent. They really want something done. They're willing to pay for it. And then if you're only paying, say, 40 or 50 bucks a lead, you get 4 leads, you only close one of them. It costs you 200 bucks to get that $50,000 kitchen remodel. That's a good return on investment. Now, again, all leads aren't going to be great. You're going to have someone that still thinks they can get away with that $5,000 bathroom, but that person's going to come to you, whether they come through Google, whether they come through Houzz or Angie or social media, wherever they find you. That person is that person that thinks that $5,000 will get them a new bathroom. So no matter where they come to you from, that's going to be the case. So now maybe try to educate them, like I mentioned earlier, and see if you can help them, see the reality of rising costs and inflation in the world today. And then in terms of where these are at, as I said, most of these markets are being served all across the country now. The biggest thing, if you're in remodeling, kitchen remodeling, you're going to be able to participate in Google local service ads, as long as you go through the process. If you're a designer, maybe a builder, maybe that's not going to be in every market right now. So that's just something that, to kind of pay attention to. If you're, do a search for your service, and if you see local ads pop up, then you'll know that they're serving in your area. And so these are what the local ads look like. A lot of people call these Google Guaranteed. These are Google's home service ads, local service ads, nicknamed Google Guaranteed because Google guarantees the listing. They guarantee that lead, that you're going to do a good job, and if you don't, the customer can take that up with Google and all that. And that's why Google makes you jump through all the hoops of really registering your business and doing background checks and all that. But the big thing about these Google local service ads, they're right at the top of the page. I mean, when you look at the top half of a page, you got Google local service ads and you got pay-per-click ads. Google wants to make money. Obviously, that's what they're in business for. They've really stacked the deck in their favor, which is not too shocking, really. Like, here's a whole screenshot right here. The one on the left, you can see, is the top half of the page. Again, like I said, all paid listings for Google to make money on. And then the right graph is your maps, and then the organic results below it where they're not making any money. So you can see how Google's really stacked the deck in their favor by putting their paid services at the top. And so if you're not doing Google local service ads yet, this is how you can get signed up. There's kind of a lot to go through in terms of, not really a lot, but you will have to submit your business license, your insurance verification, background checks, just basic things that really anybody would want to know that you're doing things the right way when it comes to running a business. And so with Google guaranteeing their leads, they want to make sure you're legit. It's not going to tell if you're a good company or a bad company, but it's going to keep all the fake companies out, all the imposters. But that's where you would go to sign up. So if you need any help with that, it's easy to do. We don't even do this. Like, you, as the owner, you have to go through it yourself. You have to do some of the things. But if you have any questions, just let me know. You can always just ping me and say, hey, I'm stuck on this. And we'll gladly help you out there. What the results have shown so far is you're still going to have some looky-loos and price shoppers, but you need to follow up quickly. Like I said before, these people they want what they want now. And so that follow-up is key if you're not answering your phone in the first time. But there really is higher quality leads here, considerably lower cost than Google's pay-per-click, which you're just paying for clicks. So that can get really expensive. Better return on investment than most paid advertising sources. And then, like I said, you will get some price shoppers. So be aware of that. And then I want to talk about local chat really quick. We've kind of talked about that a little bit here in terms of you really want to think about adding this to your website, just giving people another means with which to contact you. These chat bots can come right to your phone, right to your Facebook messaging. You can even pay higher dollar for them and have a live operator that will actually answer these chats for you. I don't think remodeling is a high enough volume industry for that. Just tying it into your own phone or your own integrations and automated follow-ups is super key. But just give people that opportunity to reach you in whatever way they feel is convenient for them. One of the biggest topics nowadays that we're getting inundated with, right, is AI generated content. Quite the buzzword these days. We've all heard of ChatGPT and many others out there, Bard, and there'll be more and more coming. But the key is to understanding how to use artificially written content. Google used to be against AI content. They since changed their stance on that, but look for more changes to come as Google's search engine deals with the billions of words of artificially generated content that's really flooding the landscape right now. The real key is using AI to help you generate ideas, but not to write your entire article or blog post for you. That's what most amateurs are doing. They just say, oh, a new tool. Wow, this is great. Look, it does it all for me. You can easily recognize the bland and boring nature of that type of content out there. It's barely readable and certainly doesn't meet Google's content guidelines on conveying experience and expertise in that subject matter that you're talking about. And then one last thing about generating AI content. This goes back to the old saying of better inputs equals better outputs. In other words, the better your input into an AI platform, your query, the better your output's going to be. So if you tell ChatGPT to write an article on kitchen remodeling, that's it, kitchen remodeling. Write me an article on kitchen remodeling. You're inevitably going to get a very boring and a very generic article that essentially serves no purpose or really helps anyone. But if you had put something into ChatGPT, something along the lines of, what is the cost to remodel a luxury kitchen with high-end finishes? Now you're definitely going to get a better result out of that content. That now you can use that message to fit your specific needs, because it's going to be a lot more detailed, and you can ask that question 2 or 3 different ways, but very similar ways, and see if you can get some different outputs that you can now combine and kind of massage and work into your own article that has your own personal touch on it. And then what I want to make sure you're thinking about is trying to not create the same type of content that your competitors are creating. You have to try and do something that is different and better than what already exists out there. And let me tell you, you know as well as I do, a lot already exists out there. And so reaching customers in 2024, the first thing you need to know is how people's search trends are shifting with generative AI and social search disrupting the search landscape. Now, while search engines are still the top choice, most people are now turning to AI chatbots and social search for answers. The younger generations especially prefer instant answers versus the endless clicking and scrolling. So remember this demographic is your new crop of upcoming homeowners. Also of note is that these folks that are ranging from basically ages 18 to 54, right in your guys' sweet spot, they prefer to use social media over search engines to do their search. So just think about where you're doing, where you're being found, where you're putting your content out there, where you're posting your videos. That's why, having an SEO strategy is great, but also doing videos, also posting social media content, putting your pictures out there in your Instagram galleries, all that. If you're not out there, you are losing out on endless opportunities. And so the takeaway is that you just really have to adapt to all the new platforms and really shifting consumer preferences. And along that same line is video marketing. It's a must-have strategy. As we know from the cat videos that go viral, the video captures the audience's attention, plain and simple. Videos are easily accessible and they convey information in a more memorable way as well. So, as you can see from the stats, all types of videos garner attention from people, including how-to videos, educational videos, And that can include videos about your services, your products, your company, your mission statement, whatever it may be. So you think about the remodelers out there that you've seen that are consistently shooting videos on their job sites. They're talking about their projects. They're educating consumers, so on and so on. Who do you think will get more attention from someone looking to remodel their kitchen? That person that's shooting videos and becoming more personalized with their audience and talking about all the steps involved, or that person that's doing nothing and ignoring this marketing channel? Pretty easy answer, right? The person that's putting themselves out there on video, that's what's going to make a difference. So, when we think about social influencers, TikTok and YouTube usually come to mind, but the same way that video works for someone talking about, say car products or beauty products, it also works for people talking about your services and your expertise. So become the influencer in your industry, in your geographical market. And you're not trying to be like famous, all over the world, all over the country, but in your geographical market, become that person and then sit back and enjoy a new stream of new leads coming in. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is Google's newest formula for success, which goes by the acronym EAT, E-E-A-T. This formula is what Google is looking for in terms of the content you're putting out there. This is the formula that Google uses to judge your web pages based on the credibility of the page, the credibility of the author, and the website. So the first E, experience. Do you as a content creator have firsthand experience of the topic being discussed? Expertise. What is your level of expertise and knowledge and skill on that subject matter? And then authoritativeness. Is the reputation of the author or the website a reliable source of information on the topic being discussed? And then last is trustworthiness. The usefulness of your content is determined by the accuracy, honesty, safety, and reliability of that web page. So everything you put on the internet, your website, your blog and educational articles, your project portfolio on Instagram, the posts and stories you share on Facebook, the videos you're producing to showcase your authority and expertise. You are making videos, right? I hope you are. All this what tells almighty Google that you are indeed the authoritative and credible leader in your industry, in your geographical market. So this is what Google wants to see, and this is what will help you get ranked better in the search results. And that's the ultimate goal, right? More online visibility, more phone calls, more design consultations set, and more sales and revenue for your growing company. And so, just to wrap up here, what will you focus on this coming year? What will your goal be? Will it be just one or two areas of focus, which is really the best strategy for most people who are trying to wear too many hats in the business? Or do you have a team? Will you be all in on all of your marketing channels and really focus on how you can grow your company this year? So it just really depends on where you're at, what your strategy should be. Pick one or two to focus on. You got a whole team, you got a good marketing budget, then think about focusing on that all-in strategy and doing everything you can to set yourself apart from your competitors. If you need a little guidance on the steps, things to consider, you can download this checklist that will take you through some of our action steps. So www.homeremodellerseo.com/checklist. Give you a second to write that down just in case you need it. But overall, I hope you guys took time while we spent some time here today just to write down 3 things that you're going to do. If you haven't done that, please do that now. Just write down 3 things that you're going to do that will move your business forward, will be a shift in your current marketing strategy than what you're doing now. And then see how that turns out for you throughout the year. Evaluate those results. Pivot if you need to, but at least start with 3 goals in mind. I guarantee you'll have a better year in 2024 than you do in 2023. And so, if you need any help with this, you need any guidance, you just want to get on the right track, you book a call with me. I'm happy to just jump on and talk with you. I know there's some folks on here I've just had some calls with, trying to give you some guidance, get you going in the right direction. You can go to that link. You can also scan the QR code, takes you to the same link as well if you want to book a call. But otherwise, it's been an honor to spend a little over an hour here with you today. I really thank you for staying on, for coming prepared to learn, and I really hope that now you feel more prepared to crush it in 2024. I hope you all have a great holiday. Thank you again for your presence here on our webinar today, and I'll look forward to seeing you in our upcoming webinars as the calendar turns to 2024. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great holiday.